Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. One of my favorite things to watch on YouTube are Q&A videos. There's something about Q&A videos that just speak to me. I think they're so much fun. So I decided to do my own because I have hit 500 subscribers, which is amazing. Thank you so much if you're a subscriber. I really appreciate your support of my channel. So last week I put out a call on my Facebook page and on my Instagram for questions about anything in any category that I could try to answer, and so I had quite a few people respond, which I really appreciate. So I'm just going to jump into those questions today, and if you have a question based on one of my answers, or if you just didn't see the call for questions and you have questions for a future Q&A, feel free to leave it below and I'll kind of set it aside, and then the next time I do a Q&A video I will include your question. How many times did I just say questions? A lot. Before we start though, this is so random, but I just got a new phone case. This is my old phone case that I've had for about 2 years since I got this phone. And although I love it, first of all, these colors are like not really my style. This is like really bold for me. I think I just needed a phone case, so I just grabbed it, and it's been great and it's worked really well. It's by the brand Spec. But like I've used it so much that this is, I don't know if you can see that. It just kind of, it's falling apart. It's kind of cracked in several places. At the bottom it's cracked. So I got rid of it. So I bought this one. It was only like maybe $12 on Amazon. And it's like this smooth rubber and it's light blue. I love it so much. Anyway, that has nothing to do with this video at all. Okay. So I'm going to start with Facebook questions. As always, every YouTuber always says this. I always find it a little bit annoying, but now I'm saying it because I mean it. If I mispronounce your name, I'm really sorry. I'm going to do my best. On Facebook, Brittany Bringgold, really cool last name, asked, she said, I saw your post about dolphins being your favorite animal, and they're mine too. I wanted to grow up and be a dolphin trainer for the longest time. When you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up? When I was in Florida last week, I put up a picture and then a video on Instagram of these dolphins that there's a pod of dolphins swimming by just like a few feet, like seriously like 15 or 20 feet only off the shore of the beach. And I got so excited because I love dolphins. I've always loved them. They've always been my favorite animal. And just like Brittany, yes, I did want to be a marine biologist or a dolphin trainer for a long time, and actually I'm really good at doing at like impersonating dolphin trainers, like when you go to an aquarium or something and there's like a little show and the way they do their voice inflections, I can like impersonate that really well because I used to watch videos of that and I used to want to go to the aquarium all the time because I just thought it was so cool. So I wanted to do that briefly, but I am not very science-minded, and so over time that faded. My number one thing that I wanted to be as a little girl was a school teacher. I wanted to be a teacher so badly. I just have always loved to work with kids and wanted to be a teacher. And that's what I really wanted to do when I was younger. As I got older, I got more into business and ended up being a business marketing major. But now I get to kind of combine all of it because I have a really cool blogger mentorship program that I run, and I get to work one-on-one with a whole bunch of mentees and kind of teach them in my own way. So I'm still getting to live out my dream of being a teacher, which was my number one childhood dream. Erica Wallace said that Q&A videos are her favorite as well, so I'm with you, Erica. And then she said, when do you plan on having children and how many would you like? Which is a great question. The timeline is a little fuzzy though. I can't give you a specific answer. Probably wouldn't put that out on the internet anyway, but we're not exactly sure. For now, my husband and I are so happy, just the two of us, just being married. We feel really full. We feel like we are just enjoying this season of life, just being married and not having children yet, because we know that once we have kids, things will change, definitely for the better, but a lot of things will change. So we're really enjoying not having babies yet, and when that time comes, we will embrace it, but for now we're embracing this season. As far as how many kids we would like to have, it's hard to say. I used to always say I wanted like 5 or 6 or 7. I always wanted a whole bunch of kids. And part of me still really wants that. But as I have gotten older and seen the reality of the responsibility of raising children, through the eyes of some of my friends and whatnot, I have sometimes kind of pulled that number back in. So Riley is game for as many kids. He loves kids. He would love a whole bunch of kids. So we'll have to see. We definitely want more than 1. So maybe we'll have 2, maybe we'll have 3, 4. It's just really hard to tell. I could see us having just 2, but I could also see us having like 5 or 6. Like I could see us having a really big family. So it's hard to exactly know kind of what our future holds. One thing for sure is that we really, really want to adopt. So we've talked a lot about maybe having 2 children biologically and then adopting a couple of children. I just have a real heart for adoption and have for a long time and have felt very led toward adoption. And so I do think that that is a part of our future. The number is a little fuzzy and the timeline is a little fuzzy just because we're not sure how our family will unfold. But we love kids, and once we, decide that we're ready to kind of grow our family in that way, we will welcome probably more than just a couple of children, but don't quote me on that because I'm not sure. It's going to be really funny if we end up having a bunch of kids and I replay this little segment of me saying that I don't know, and then I have 5 kids in the background. Andy Nicholson asked, how are you adjusting to life in Denton? Do you wish you had a job that got you out of the house more to meet more people? Well, thanks for your question, Andy. First of all, I don't live in Denton. I live in Gainesville, and they are about 30 miles apart. Denton is about 30 miles north of Dallas, and then I live about 30 miles more north of that. Denton is I almost said a very happening city. That's something my dad would say. What would be a better way to say that? It's a youthful, vibrant, that would be a better word. It's a vibrant city. There's a lot going on. There's lots of restaurants. There's lots to do. There's a lot of everything. That is the exact opposite of where I live. So sometimes I wish we lived in Denton, but we do not. Living in Gainesville, I am adjusting as can be expected. There are some really good days, there's some really hard days, some things are great, some things are not. I don't want to dive too much into that because I cover all of that in my Rooted series. There is a playlist, on my channel called Rooted, and my word for 2017 is rooted, meaning planted here, because I've had a really hard time finding my footing in this area. So if you're interested in learning all the ins and outs of that, you can check that out. So that's kind of that as far as getting adjusted. I'm working on it. It's okay. It's not been the best. This wouldn't be my top city to live in, but it's where we are right now. I'm trying to make the best of it. As far as whether I wish I had a job that got me out of the house to meet more people, yes and no. I really love what I do. It's very fulfilling. It's something I've dreamed of doing for a long, long time. So I would not want to give that up at all. What I wish more than anything is that if I got out of the house, I would be able to meet more people. I just am in a very small town. There's not a lot of people living here. There are certainly not a lot of young married couples at all that I have met. And so just in general, meeting people in town, whether I have a job outside of the home or not, has been so difficult. And I know that having a job doesn't necessarily mean that you have friends, because when I first moved to Austin, I worked in corporate marketing, and I had I worked with a whole bunch of other people, and I wasn't friends with a single one of them outside of work. I mean, at all. I didn't have any friends at all at that job, but I made a whole bunch of amazing friendships through my church. Then I ended up getting laid off. That company went under. The whole marketing team got laid off, and I started working at a church as a preschool director. And while I was working there, I already had a lot of friends that I had made through the church, and then some of my coworkers there became my best friends. So I've seen both sides where you definitely can meet some of your best friends through work, and then I've been in a place where I haven't met a single friend. That's kind of that. It would be nice to have more people in town. If there were job opportunities around town that there would be young people working there, I might be more inclined to want to check into them, but there's just not really any. So I'm pretty happy doing what I'm doing and still putting myself out there, but I mean, any business you go in around town, it's all much older people. So I don't know that I would like be making fast friends if I had a more traditional job anyway, if that makes sense. Okay, so this is so cool. So some of my neighbors have green trash cans like we do, and then some of them have yellow. And I've noticed as I've got to meet our neighbors that the yellow trash cans belong to the elderly neighbors. And so it's like half and half on our street. And but the yellow trash can people leave their trash cans against their house. They don't drag it down to the curbside like the green trash can people do. This is the most random story. But anyway, right now outside there is a trash truck that is specifically getting the yellow trash cans, and the people are walking all the way up to the house and emptying them and then, returning them to the house so that the elderly people don't have to walk the trash back and forth. That's really cool. I always wondered how that worked because I would see them, but it's outside right now. So if you hear a truck rumbling outside, it's the yellow trash can people doing their job, which is a great service to the community if you ask me. Okay, my last Facebook question is from Hannah Zumwalde. Really cool last name. Or Zumwalde. Not sure. And she asks, how do you and Riley keep God at the center of your marriage? If you don't know, I'm a Christian. My husband and I love the Lord. We love Jesus. And it's really, really important to us and is certainly the center of our marriage. And the way that we do that mostly is by individually having a thriving relationship with Christ and individually studying the Word, individually praying, individually having quiet times, and when we're both seeking the Lord, then together our marriage is stronger. Beyond that, though, together, we often, we pray together every single night before bed. Before we actually fall asleep, we sit and pray together. Sometimes it's a very short 2 or 3 minutes, and sometimes we'll pray for a longer period of time. We also pray before all of our meals. We often will pray together before we go on a trip for safety. If one of us is having a hard day, the other one will pray. So just praying together is really, really a bonding experience and helps us to remember to keep our focus on God and not on our own strength. We're not the kind of couple that studies the Bible line by line together. That's just not really our couple personality. We enjoy discussing sermons we've both listened to. We enjoy discussing theology, and we go to the same Bible study every Thursday night, which is another big way to stay kind of connected and grounded. But I know some couples really love doing Bible studies together, It just doesn't really suit us. We're both kind of independent processors in that way, and so we would rather kind of process it individually and then come together to discuss it, if that makes sense. But we have a lot of different things, little pieces in place that kind of help us keep God at the center, but certainly prayer is a big one of just praying together and speaking truth over each other and praying for what's going on in each other's lives and what's going on together, what's going on in our community, our families, our world. So that really, really is definitely a powerful, powerful way for us to keep the Lord at the center of our marriage. Okay, now I have some Instagram questions. So Abby Robertson asks, what are your tips and tricks with editing and uploading? So I'm assuming that, Abby, you're asking about YouTube, but you could be asking about blogging and you could be asking about Instagram, so I'm not totally sure. If you're talking about YouTube videos, I don't know that I have any amazing tricks of the trade. I have been interested in videography for a long time, but I'm not great at it. I just can kind of get by. I edit in iMovie, which came free on my Mac, and I just use royalty-free songs and music online and include those. The one thing I would say, one tip, is that give yourself plenty of time. Editing takes a lot longer than I think most people realize. If it's to be done well, and it's not super choppy or just weird transitions, and so give yourself lots and lots and lots of time. Make sure to watch it back, give yourself several days, look at your content with fresh eyes. That goes with writing, creating videos, whatever. Don't just cram it all into an hour and upload it. If you want it to be really well done, it's wise to edit or write or whatever and then set it aside, and about 12 to 24 hours later, go and revisit your content and make sure that you still like what you've written or what you've produced, that kind of thing. So those are a couple little tips and tricks. If you have more specific questions, I can definitely try to answer them, but I'm not exactly sure what, kind of path you're wanting me to take with regards to that question, but I appreciate it. So 2 people asked almost the same question. So lifeabundant_JW asked, what is your money saving strategy when it comes to planning for a Disney vacation? And then Tally AKM asked, how do you plan an affordable Disney vacation? So those are pretty much the same question. If you don't know, we love Disney. My husband and I, it is our vacation destination of choice by far. We've both traveled quite a bit and it's just the best. We just love Disney. We love the all-inclusive feel. We love how every single thing is taken care of before you arrive. It's so clean, it's so much fun, there's tons to do, there's great restaurants, there's great shopping, there's rides and amusement park attractions, there's shows. It's just amazing. We just love Disney so much. So we have been twice so far in our marriage of 18 months and just have enjoyed our trips so much. And the last one I vlogged, so if you want to check that out, it is live on my channel. Our money saving strategy is that we already put money aside for travel, and so when we are planning a Disney trip, we just reroute that money into our Disney vacation fund, so to speak. One really cool thing with Disney is that you only have to put $200 down to hold your vacation. So if you know that you want to go a certain week or something like that, you could book the week online, put down $200, and then you could pay the rest of the money over time, and you have until 1 month before you arrive to complete your payment. So if you book a trip a year in advance, then you have 11 months to pay off that trip. And so being able to go into your account and pay it off little by little can be a really easy way where it doesn't feel like you're just sucking your dispensable income dry. You can just little by little put money into your account on the Disney website, and then by the time that you're about ready to get on your trip, everything will be paid off, which is another thing we love about Disney, is that when we arrive, every single thing is completely paid off and our wallets stay in the safe in the hotel room and we do not have to pull them out. So it's not any rocket science kind of special thing that we do. We just pull money aside that we were going to use for travel anyway and put it right into our Disney trip vacation. And we live very frugally and simply anyway. I just wrote about that on my blog if you want to check it out. I shared 16 things that we do not do in an effort to save money. Things like I don't get my nails done, we don't go to a gym, all those different kinds of things. You can see 14 others on my blog if you want to check that out. But the bottom line is we live pretty frugally, so we do have, with the purpose of having extra money to be able to go to Disney or go on other trips. And so we use that money to go to Disney and we love it so much. CPE and Co. asked, what does your blog process look like? So when I'm writing a blog post, it usually my process looks pretty similar. So first of all, I have notepads, digital notepads and physical notepads everywhere. I have like a digital notepad on my phone, I have one on my computer desktop, and then I have physical notepads scattered all over the house, all over the place, where I keep blog post ideas. Because when one pops into my head, I have to get it down or I'm gonna lose it. So I usually, when I'm ready to start writing, I go and check out one of my ideas and I open up a new post template on my blog and I just start kind of writing a loose outline, some ideas, kind of some subheadings, that kind of thing. And then I slowly, usually over the course of many hours, usually 4 to 6 hours, slowly fill in the content over time as it comes to me and that kind of thing. Very rarely do I sit down and write a full post start to finish and publish it. It usually takes me much longer than that. So I go ahead and put a couple hours in, and then maybe I'll take a break for lunch, put a couple more hours in, proofread it, and then proofread it the next morning and then publish it. Like a few days after that. I also usually at the very end add photos and graphics because that's distracting to me if I'm adding those in while I'm writing. So that's kind of my rough blog post process. It's not the exact same every time, but it's pretty darn similar each time. And I've gotten kind of in the rhythm over the past 5 years that I've been blogging of how I kind of pulled together my posts. So I hope that answers your question. Another blog related question comes from Hannah Godsill. And she asked, how did you decide what to write about on your blog? So that's I just kind of answered that. I don't have a magic formula. I just keep a lot of notepads in a lot of places, and when inspiration strikes, I write it down, and then I'll usually kind of refine my topic or my idea, and sometimes I'll boil it down so small that I can just insert kind of my thoughts on that topic into another post, and sometimes I'll realize that whatever my idea was is so big that I need to break it down into a post series of multiple posts. So again, there's no magic formula. It's just I just use my life as an inspiration. When I'm going through my life, I figure out what I'm interested in, what I'd like to write about, that kind of thing, and then I write it down. And when I have some writing hours, I go ahead and pull one of those ideas off my list. Hannah Marie Wofford asks, when are you coming back to Disney? And can we do a Disney double date? And then she puts a little heart and a little mouse icon. That's awesome. Well, we're trying to get back to Disney before the end of the year. We are hoping to go back sometime at the end of 2017. We just had a trip at the end of January, so we're thinking maybe November or December. We would love to get back. So I will keep you in the loop if that trip goes through, because we both are just itching to head back to Disney and experience. I would love to go this spring, this summer, and this fall. It's just not going to happen though. So we are hoping for a end of the year trip possibly, and I will keep you in the loop with that. MM Lockridge asks, what is your favorite thing about being married? I love being married very, very much. It's so much fun. I just love having the companionship. I love having someone to come home to. I love just having, this is going to sound so cheesy, so you can get your vomit bucket ready if you need to. But Riley and I are best friends, and we always used to make fun of couples that would say that. When we were dating, we would always make fun of married couples that would be like, we're best friends. It just sounds really cheesy. But we actually are. So I just love, it's fun to live and do life with my best friend. It's fun to do anything. Do a home improvement project, take a walk, eat dinner, go grocery shopping. Whatever we do is more fun because we just really like being together. And also my husband is so funny, and so he just keeps me laughing. And so that's probably my most favorite thing. Just spending time together and being together in general is just, that companionship is really, really special to me. But then more than that, I love Riley's sense of humor. He makes me laugh so hard, and coming home to someone who makes you laugh is a good feeling. Alyssa Hancock 89 asked, when did you know you were in love with Riley? That's an awesome question. It's really a cute question. So Riley and I met in 2011. We were both working as camp counselors at a camp, but we were both dating other people. So there was no romantic interest at all. I don't even know if I would describe us as friends. We were like acquaintances. And then we rekindled or reconnected our relationship in January of 2014, so several years later, because we had both, from 2011 to 2014, ended the relationships that we had been in, and were both kind of just single and, working professionally. And so Riley reached out to me, and we ended up meeting up for coffee in Waco, because Riley lived north of Waco, I lived south in Austin, so we met up in the middle. We were just gonna go get coffee, and our coffee date turned into a 9-hour first date where we got coffee, and then we went out to dinner, and then we went to another coffee shop and got more coffee, and we just kept talking. And I didn't fall in love with him at first sight, or have the feeling of being in love with him the way that I do now and the way that I eventually did. But when I left that first date, I knew I would marry him, because I had been praying for someone exactly like him for my entire life. I have these funny little lists of what I want in a husband from when I was 13 or 14, and it is so funny because some of those things are so specific, and Riley hits every single one of my long, ranty list. I just knew, I had been praying for him for so many years, for so long. And so when I met him, even though I didn't feel in love with him, I knew that I would marry him, and those feelings followed very quickly. I don't know exactly the moment that I fell in love with him. I think it was a lot of little moments, a lot of things that added up to me just being very smitten and very in love with him. So I don't know exactly when I knew I was in love with him. I I think it was pretty quick. I remember being afraid that I was accidentally going to say I love you too soon. And I felt like that would be like too much. And so I remember being worried about that. So I think it was probably within the first month or so we started dating, I knew I was in love with him. But after our very first date, I knew we would get married. I wrote it in my journal. I called my friend on the way home and said, I just met my husband. Like, I just knew, I was so sure of it. And so it's been really fun to see that unfold because I was right. We did get married and I am very in love with him. Erica Nicole 33 asked, what advice would you give to someone who wants to start simplifying their life, or a tip on how to get started? My number one tip is to simplify your schedule. When you simplify your schedule, your whole life will change drastically and dramatically. I've written a lot of blog posts about this. It is a passion of mine. There is such a strange mentality rushing through modern America where people are proud of being busy. And I think it's the most unhealthy, exhausting, ludicrous, ridiculous. I cannot understand it. People wear being busy as like a badge of honor, and I don't understand why. I just think that simplifying your schedule is so important. I think that removing things that are not life-giving to you, things that you shouldn't be doing, that you're doing out of obligation, you should remove those from your schedule. I think that adding in things that you feel like other people want you to do but you don't want to do, I don't think there's room for that. I think life is too short. So simplifying your schedule is a great way to simplify your life, because once you have more free time, you're able to tackle things like clutter in your home, or you're able to spend more time with the relationships, the people that you love. You're able to travel more if that's what you like to do. You're able to craft more or cook more or whatever you want to do. If your house feels like it's in disarray, you have more time to clean and tidy and organize. I just think cutting things out of your schedule that are unnecessary for the sake of being busy is a really, really great step in simplifying your life. So that's kind of my first step. And then after that, I would say go through every room of your house, because physical clutter becomes mental clutter. So if you can get rid of junk in your house that you don't need or don't use, that's just cluttering up your space, it will help you mentally, in my opinion, as well. Jenna 13 asks, what's your favorite part about running a blog? Hands down, 100% my favorite part about running a blog is the people that I have met through my blog. I cannot explain to you how cool it is to have friends in England, to have friends in Australia, to have friends in Canada, friends all over the 50 states. It's like so neat to be able to meet people that I would never normally meet and be able to communicate with them and email with them and Skype with them and chat with them. And I just have made some really amazing friends. People who are like-minded, who have similar values, people who really like having a slower paced life the way that I like having a slower paced life. I love it. I just love it. I love getting to hear advice and tips from people from all over the world. So the community that my blog has brought into my life is an unexpected blessing that I cherish so much. And that's definitely, hands down, my most favorite thing about running a blog. I'm not going to say this correctly, so I apologize in advance. Oreo Loranda, might have said that right, asks, what has been your favorite experience being a first-time dog owner? So my dog Charlie I got 3 years ago, and before that, growing up, I never had any dogs or any pets really. I just had a hermit crab that I was terrified of. So having Charlie has been such a great experience all the way around, but my most favorite thing is just I never knew the unconditional love of a dog. Like, I know people say that all the time. It's so completely true. I just love him. He knows when I'm upset. He comes and cuddles with me. He's so stinking cute. He gives me a reason to go take a walk every day. I just love him. Like, I never thought that I could love a dog so deeply. I just truly love him. And he's just the sweetest dog. Like, I had small group Bible study at my house a few weeks ago, and there was a woman who was sharing something that was difficult for her to share, and she was getting upset. And Charlie was in the front of the house, and we were sitting in the back of the house. And Charlie, she wasn't making loud noises or sobbing or anything like that. She was just kind of struggling to say what she had to say because it was difficult. It was sad or emotional for her. Charlie comes running from the front of the house into the back of the house and lays on her lap and just curls up on her lap. And so we always joke that he's like a therapy dog because he's just so sweet. And I know that's not unique. Like, dogs are very in tune to their owners and to other people. And I just love that. So everything's been my favorite, but my most favorite thing is just the love that I have for him and that he has for me. Like, that unconditional love is just cannot be beat. Okay, I have 4 more questions. So Curry Wilkinson Pottery asks, what do you miss most about Elon University? My girlfriend works there and has been following your blog for a while. So obviously I went to Elon University in North Carolina. I loved it so much. It was the perfect school for me. I had an amazing 4 years. I learned so very much from brilliant people, and I absolutely loved it. My top thing that I miss from Elon are the people. I miss living with my friends in an apartment with them. I miss getting lunch with someone every day. I miss being in classes with my friends, doing projects with my friends, being in clubs and groups with them. I just miss that. The level of community that college has to offer is unique to college only in my personal experience. Like, I've never ever been at a point in life where I've been so padded by community and so surrounded by friends 24/7 as I was when I was in college, and I miss that so much. And on hard days, I just wish I could go back to my, apartment where all my friends were and we could all just pile on the couch together, and like, I just miss those days so much. I really enjoyed schoolwork and I loved the academic side of it. I don't really miss that very much, but I definitely miss the people a whole lot. And the campus was and continues to be just beautiful. It's a gorgeous campus, and living somewhere that was just so beautiful, I definitely miss that sometimes too. So there are a couple of things, but what I miss most are my friends being in close proximity. Alyssa Hancock 89 left another comment, and this time she asked, also, what do you feel your top 2 strengths are and how have they blessed your life? P.S. I see countless strengths in you. Oh, that's really sweet. Thank you, Alyssa. My top 2 strengths. It's always hard to point out your own strengths. I think one strength that I have is that I am very strong-willed, and I have a lot of perseverance, and am able to move forward and push forward even when things are hard. And I think I have a lot of willpower. Like, even if I don't feel like doing something, I will still do it, which is why my home remains pretty clean and why my to-do list remains, pretty checked off and that kind of thing, just because I do think that I was born with a strong sense of willpower. I remember my parents telling me that even as a little kid, that I was just innately born with willpower. So I'm thankful for that. Sometimes it makes it hard to turn my brain off, but I think that has allowed me to kind of build this business entrepreneur kind of thing that I wanted to build for a long time. I think that that's a big contributing factor. So that's one thing. A second strength that I am proud of is my inclination toward hospitality. I really love having people in our home. I love hosting overnight guests. I love hosting dinners. I love hosting parties. I love hosting showers. I love hosting anything, and I think I'm pretty good at it. I just really think that there is a lot of power in inviting someone into my own space, my own home, and then just taking care of them and making sure that they have hot tea at night if they want some, and they have blankets on their bed, and they have fresh sheets, and they have everything they could want or need. It's just, when someone comes into my home, I hope and pray that they leave feeling more at peace, more joyful, more satisfied. That's kind of my heart toward having people into my home. I don't take it lightly. Even if someone's just popping over, I always make sure to have something to offer them and that kind of thing. And I learned a lot of my hospitality skills from my own mom, who was very hospitable, but it's something that I think I have gotten good at and have continued to grow in as I've gotten older, and it's a strength, so to speak, that I'm proud of, because I think it blesses other people, and I think having people feel comfortable and welcome and at peace in my home is something that is a special gift that I feel honored and humbled to be able to offer. I just have one more question, and it's from Triasha_C, and she asked, what is the one country you want to visit on each continent? So I had to think about this. I've been to 4 out of the 7 continents, so I've done a little bit of I've done some traveling already. But these are the places I had to write them down because I was going to forget that in every country that in every continent that I would love to go and visit. So in North America, it's not a country. I would love to go to Alaska or Hawaii or this is where I just would love to go everywhere. I know that Alaska is not a country, but it kind of might as well be, given its location and all of that. It's so different from the lower 48. But I would love to visit Alaska within North America. In South America, I would love to visit Argentina. I almost studied abroad in Argentina. I ended up choosing to study abroad in Spain because I wanted to be able to travel on the weekends throughout Europe. But I think Argentina has a lot to offer and a lot that I would really enjoy visiting. So I'd love to visit Argentina. In Africa, I would love to visit South Africa. My sister has traveled to South Africa and just really loved it. So I would love to go check out South Africa and see what it's all about. In Oceania, I would love to visit Australia, although anywhere in that part of the world speaks to me because it is like just a dream to me to be on an island and be, I'm all about that. So I would love to visit, Fiji, New Zealand, Australia, any of those. But I think at the top of my list is Australia. In Asia, I would love to visit Japan. I really love Japan. Japanese culture and everything to do with Japan really fascinates me, and I've watched a lot of documentaries and read books and all of that about Japanese, the Japanese lifestyle and the culture, and I just find it really fascinating, and I think the country is really beautiful from what I've seen. So I would love to visit Japan. And in Europe, I would love to visit Germany or Ireland. Both my husband and I are Irish-German. We have, German descent through our families and Irish descent. And so I would love to go overseas and visit both Germany and Ireland. And if I had to pick one of the two, I would rather go to Germany right now. But honestly, I always joke with Riley, I'm not hard to please when it comes to travel because I would love to go everywhere. Any city, anywhere sounds so great to me. I just love exploring and traveling. And then the only other continent is Antarctica. Not super thrilled about visiting Antarctica because I cannot stand the cold. I hate cold weather. So I don't think that would be at the top of my list. So that's a great question. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to kind of think about, where I would want to go. So that is all I have time for questions today. I really appreciate you watching this video. Thanks so much for those of you who submitted questions. I hope to do another one of these videos in the future if you like them. I'm not just going to talk about myself if no one cares. Seems like a strange idea. So if you like videos like this and if you like Q&As, make sure you thumbs up this video or leave me a comment just so that I know that, because I would love to do more in the future if there's interest. If not, I'll just keep watching other people's Q&As on YouTube because I love them so much. Anyway, I hope y'all are having a great day. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!